What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, is going to be mostly informational. Um, we're going to talk about the upcoming protests and stuff that are happening across the country, because they're continuing. These protests are not stopping. It's the one thing that I can say about this, time and period right now, with everything going on with the Trump administration. The chaos, the up and the confusion, concerns about actions being taken or actions that are not being taken. Whether it's just so many um, people are upset. People are upset. They are uh, concerned. They are confused. Uh, in reasonably so. So we have a article here from Newsweek, and this is how where I started here, and then I'm gonna go a little bit like explain the showing the sites and stuff if you want to check them out. So we have Free America, anti-Trump protests taking place nationwide on 4th of July. Uh, so Free America events protesting President Donald Trump administration is set to be held across the country throughout the July 4th weekend. The events follow after a nationwide protest against the Trump administration and its policies organized by the 5051 movement and other groups, since January. Millions of people took to the streets for No Kings protest on June the 14th, which we've talked about extensively, targeting the parade. The 250th anniversary coincided with his birthday and all that stuff. What to know? Free America Weekend is being organized by the Women's March, which was launched in 2017 as a grassroots group of women outraged over Trump 2016 presidential win. The Women's March is urging people to host or join community events during the holiday weekend. This July 4th, while the U.S. marks Independence Day, will gather across the country on porches, in town squares, backyards, and streets to stand for real freedom and build a vision of a free America brick by brick, Women's March says on its website. Free America is wherever we are. Free America is whatever we make it. Host or join July 4th Free America action rallies, barbecues, marches, art builds, community block parties, and more to celebrate real freedom. At least 170 Free America events are being planned for the holiday weekend in numerous states, including several in New York, California, Texas, and Florida, according to the Women's March. The full list of events is at their website, which we're going to explore in just a second. What people are saying, Women's March wrote on X, protest is the patriotic way to spend the 4th of July. It's in the heart of Independence Day and paves our path forward. If you're hosting a block party or a barbecue this 4th of July, help us protect democracy with joyful resistance. What happens next? In addition to the Free America hosts some local chapters and indivisible chapters of Indivisible, I'll get this out in a second, have planned No Kings 2.0 protest for July 4th. I didn't see that one yet. Okay. The protest will be followed by another day of national demonstrations billed as Good Trouble Lives On. This is on July 17th. A reference to the late Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis. Good Trouble Lives On is a national day of action to respond to the attacks on our civil and human rights by the Trump administration, according to organizers, and we're going to look at that as well. But if you are interested in like local protest or actions that are being taken, events, hosting or whatever, or if you want to host one yourself, what I tend to do is, for one, I go to 5051. Okay, it's just 5050.1. Okay, that's the website, 5050.1. And they will typically have a list of different events. You can check out events. You can go to the websites and host events and stuff like that. There's a state here, 4th of July, Free America. You can click here. It takes you to the Free America website, or the Free America event, which is under the Women's March website. And as you see here, of course, I put my uh, zip code in here, and it doesn't have anything. There's nothing in Mississippi for this host so far for this event, which I can zoom out here. There's nothing in Mississippi, but there are events across the country. 175 events at the moment, with approximately 1,700 attendees. And so this is relatively small, which to some degree you can kind of understand. It is the 4th of July. People are probably a little weird about hosting an event on that day. You know, it feels a little bit like a little bit too much maybe. But they state here, Free America Weekend, Independence Weekend, take action. We invite, but I like the way they're doing this, though. I have to admit, I like the way they're approaching the idea of doing something on the 4th of July. That it, could be small events. It's not talking about really necessarily having a major ass protest or something in a city or something like this. It's like smaller community things that can be more like a party, of your freedoms, just sort of banding together instead of where we probably typically, I know I do, like we have our own little family thing, personal at our house or something like that. It's like maybe branching out a little bit bigger, inviting neighbors, community, stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be some massive, event in front of a Capitol building or something like that, but just, some small things is what they're kind of going for. We invite communities to create their own Free America events, rallies, marches, block parties, banner drops, street parades, art builds, backyard barbecues, dance protests, and more. Your freedom, your people, your rebellion. From cities to suburbs to small towns, we'll gather however and wherever we can. Host a block party to Free America. This is your chance to invite everyone who isn't going to come to a protest to dream about freedom with hot dogs and veggie burgers. I don't know about veggie burgers, but I mean, they're good. That's okay. No problem. Take the street in a local march or public protest. Build community altars, murals. Protest about your vision for a free America. Occupy space joyfully with dancing, costumes, food, music, and conversations. They want us scared, divided, and alone. They don't want us to dream about freedom, but that's exactly what we have to do. This 4th of July, we will be in the streets with songs of freedom and joy. The dream of America freedom belongs to all of us, and we will not stop in our pursuit of its promise now or ever. Together we must free America from the grip of greedy billionaires who rig the system for themselves. Okay, good. Let's stop the rich and powerful from gambling our future away. Okay. Free America from poverty and end rigged systems where the wealthy live large while the middle class foots the bill. Yeah. Everyone should be able to afford rent, food, healthcare, and a decent life. Free America from arbitrary firings and flood of unlawful orders. Good. No one should be subjected to authoritarians overwhelming us with policies designed to spread fear and control. I agree. Free America from the grip of hate and the politics of fear. Everyone deserves to live safely, love who they love, and be treated with respect. Free America now to protect our freedoms before they're gone. We need fair elections and right to vote and protest, and real justice for all. Sounds pretty damn good. That's what their layout is here for Free America Weekend on July 4th. Like I said, I like the approach that they're giving here. It's not trying to make some kind of major. It's like protest your way, simple in the back. We're not trying to create some huge expectations. And if you have the ability to do so, create a community. If you have a community space where you can do a barbecue and have people come, or whatever, that's cool. I like the way they're doing this. Because like I said, 4th of July is probably a little bit of a touchy day to try to scream, let's protest, let's protest, let's protest. Um, it's more in the, we're already celebrating, so how about we just celebrate together a little bit more, celebrate a little bit bigger, but like not necessarily in the well, I mean, it could, it really is actually in the way that it is, celebrating our freedom, but also not just celebrating the freedom, or our independence, but to reestablish that idea of freedom and independence throughout the community, throughout America, and speaking that power and freedom and independence to those in power. That's the idea, like reinforcing, hey, this is the day that we grew our independence, and we are going to remain independent, and we're not going to be dependent on you. That's the idea, to a degree. I think it makes sense, but it is small. It's not going to necessarily be the most impactful thing, but the idea is still there, is to push and in your own little small way back at those in power. So that's cool. That's not bad. Like I said, I feel like for the major big time event goers, this is the best way to approach 4th of July. I expected probably some degree of, idea behind this. I mean, it was already being called for by some, like Occupy Democracy or whatever, was pushing for something on 4th of July big. But there did seem to be some pushback, like, yeah, I don't know if we should really touch this day. And I completely understand that. But I do like the way this is approaching it. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, you have July the 17th, which is Good Trouble Lives On, which takes you to this website here. This is goodtroubleliveson.org. And what they're trying to establish across America, let's make the good trouble. This is a march on peace, act in powers on July 17th. And as you can see, it's quite a bit more action going on here. It's going to be much more widespread. This is basically, to some degree, more or less a real No Kings 2.0. Even though there might be some stuff, which I haven't necessarily found that on the July 4th, or maybe this could be No Kings 3.0. I don't know, because I don't see July 4th being a 2.0 really, but whatever the case. But this is much more widespread, much more action going on here. And I would think and expect this to continue. Like, again, you can host an event, host a toolkit, all these websites that are setting up for these protests, nationwide protests, give you the ability to find a protest, to create, or an event or whatever, to create one, as you can see here, like even in Mississippi. We've got a few of them popping up here, established. One in Vicksburg, July the 17th, 2 to 7. The headquarters Barber and Beauty. So that's a 4-hour event there. Have 3 in Jackson here that's set up. Dueling Hall from 4 to 8 on July the 17th. 6 to 8 at, this is a Baptist church, Cornerstone Baptist Church. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And then here's another one from 7 to 8:30. This one doesn't state where it is. This seems more downtown. No, well, not really downtown. Well, kinda, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you can. Let's see here. Yeah, that's not. It's a little bit. Uh, not quite downtown, not where I would expect. But I mean, yeah, still, these, that's some events going on for this so far in Mississippi, and how normally there's one usually up in Tupelo, somewhere around Hattiesburg, maybe even on the Gulf. But and those events were likely to pop up eventually. But like I said, this is looking pretty decent. Um, but like I said, it's in uh, Good Troubles is on a national day of action to respond to the attacks on our civil and human rights by the Trump administration. Together, we remind that in America the power lies with the people. Coined by civil rights leader Congressman John Lewis, Good Trouble is the action of coming together to take peaceful, nonviolent action to challenge injustice and create meaningful change. The civil rights leaders of the past have shown us the power of collective action. That's why on July 17th, 5 years since the passing of Congressman John Lewis, communities across the country will take to the streets, courthouses, and community spaces to carry forward his fight for justice, voting rights, and dignity for all. This picture did not pop up. So yeah, that's what this and that was obviously is John Lewis. So yeah, this is, like I said, you can host an event, sign up here to host one, whatever. But yeah, so this is what's happening. That's the most recent events that are set up. But you can see that this is something that's continuing to happen across the country. I don't think I have seen yet to date a president that has had such an influence or impacted the need, the action of protests like this, like ongoing consecutive protests across the country, nationwide, even worldwide. I mean, New Kings was not even just the United States, it was at several locations even outside of the United States, all through Europe, Australia, South America, South Africa. I mean, there was places, Indonesia. There was places, not Indonesia. Anyway, but there was places all over the world. I mean, this is in solidarity with us, and I don't think I've ever seen a person like, especially like a president, like I said, that has invoked the feeling, the need of doing protests like this repetitively over and over and over and over again, amassing, thousands upon thousands, and in some cases millions upon millions of people, to band together, and push for or push back on and not just even an individual, but the whole entire administration. I mean, yes, you've had, I think almost every recent president has had protests to some degree. One or two here or there, but this is like continuous, over and over and over and over, in defiance of the actions that are being taken by him and his administration. This is, in my opinion, historical. I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. And I have, in this entire time, had the wrong had the wrong thing up here. Um, this is ClearTalk. This is not JMDPLAY. I apologize. You were not on the wrong channel. I was on the wrong channel. um, but and it is just it is promising. It is it makes me feel some type of even in time where you feel just like, oh my gosh, the fucking country is falling apart. It feels like it, to some degree at least, there is something holding a large amount of us together. That we're pushing for things to not to continue to go down this path, because granted, and I've admitted before, this is not start with Trump. This is a direction that's been happening for decades now. The difference is that Trump has accelerated that like tenfold. I mean, just insanely accelerated it. And it's not even necessarily him. It's the people that he surrounded himself with, and these are the people who are pushing. And he's unfortunately for us, he is naive enough and just gullible enough to accept the premises that they establish for him, the narrative and the propaganda and the agenda that they're pushing on him and for him to in a way where he feels like apparently he's benefiting from it, even just for completely different reasons. Doesn't excuse him though. He's just as bad, and even his reasonings are bad. So, but it's good to see that people are banding together and people are staying strong and pushing back and finding a way to resist. It shows promise. And I said it before that I hope that it continued to go and continue to stay strong, and it feels like it's staying strong. Not necessarily is every one of them bigger than the next, bigger than the previous one, but the message is still there. The message is growing. The message is expanding. The message is being even more and more inclusive as more and more people are being affected by the actions being taken by the administration. And people are going, hey, people before they were like, that's not my problem. You're protesting against something that's not bothering me. Now all of a sudden something is bothering them and they're being included in it. So the protest is growing because more and more people are being involved and being affected by this administration, and therefore the momentum is continuing. And I feel like the momentum is just continuously growing. Doesn't mean that every protest is going to expand and get bigger and bigger, because depending upon the situation, like I said, 4th of July is clearly not going to be massive. But that's not the point. July 17th could be more in line, though, to be massive. So it's just continue to be strong, continue to, involve yourself as best you can. I haven't been able to make the last one or two of them. I do plan. I don't know if I can work anything for July 4th. Probably not. But I do very much expect to get involved on the 17th. I see no reason why I can't do that. And anything else that I can try to do, talking here or whatever I continue to do. But do what you can. It's not that you have to be impactful every time, but when you can, do, right? Uh yeah. So, anyways, hope this was a good video for you, or felt you got something out of this, even if it's just information on where to go for looking for stuff, or okay, and I'm sure there's other sites as well that can direct you. I just, the way that I look, 5051 does a good job of not only hosting events, but also kind of showing other events hosted by other groups. So, yeah, thank you very much. And if you've got any more information about other stuff going on at anywhere, other groups or something, or you just want to share your thoughts about everything, it doesn't matter. Feel free to do so in the comments. And thank you very much for joining me. JMD, ClearTalk. I'll get it. I'm sorry. ClearTalk. Peace. I'm out.